Hey family! Welcome to the new mini-series on finding your sound. The most common headspace we get into when we're talking about finding our sound is to jump straight into the gear that's best able to produce that sound. And yeah, gear is part of it. This series is going to take a much broader approach and think about your sound not just as your tone, but also as your note choices and musical context. We're covering everything from the conception of your sound to your practice routine. And yes, we'll talk about gear too. In today's overview, I'm laying out the 5 areas we'll cover in the series. Let's start at the beginning. Number 1, conception and focus. This really starts with the sound in your head. We're going to talk about versatility and identity and get really explicit with your sound goal. We'll build a concept board and we'll talk about going beyond your instrument for influences. Next, we'll get into definition and understanding what makes up your musical taste profile. In this area, we'll talk about how you decide what to practice and what not to practice. Next up, we'll get into learning songs, and I mean really learning songs, right? There's a fast way to learn the songs, and there's a deep way to learn the songs. Then we'll get into technique. I'd like you to think of your technique not just as playing fast, but as your overall system of playing, right? Technique is about executing your sound. Then we'll talk explicitly about tone. What do you need to create your sound? Are you playing with your fingers, a pick, a thumb, something else, drumsticks? And yes, we'll talk about your instrument, right? Let's get into the range, let's get into the setup, the electronics, the strings, everything there is about the instrument that affects your sound. And we'll go beyond that. We'll talk about the amplifier, and we'll even talk about kind of non-bass gear. What I'd really like you to do is think about this as a commitment to creating your own identifiable sound. All right, thanks for watching. And go ahead and check out the first video in the series, linked here.